At first, the woman thought it was just a rather large pit, but when she walked in, she discovered it was actually a footprint, several times larger than herself. What kind of creature could have left such an enormous footprint? According to the recollection of two elderly people, in the evening their dog was barking incessantly outside. They thought it had seen strangers, so they paid no attention as they continued eating. Suddenly, the house began to shake. Thinking it was a landslide, the couple didn't bother to check the situation. They immediately took shelter in the basement just after they hid. The entire house was violently struck, as if hit by an earthquake. After some time had passed, when they heard no more noise outside, the two crawled out, but the scene before them left their jaws dropped. Their house had become a pile of ruins, as if something had deliberately smashed through the middle of their house and left two enormous footprints on the ground. After hearing the elderly couple's account, Sheriff Chris felt this must be a gigantic creature. But after following the footprints for 20 kilometers, they found nothing. It was as if it had vanished into thin air. They even deployed thermal imaging, yet still came up empty-handed. A creature this large shouldn't disappear without a trace. It must be hiding somewhere, but the surroundings were nothing but bare mountains. Where could it possibly hide? They never would have guessed that the creature was disguised like a stone camouflaged among the mountains. To find this creature, Katie and her team sought out an elderly archaeology professor because more than 10 years ago, he had studied these giant creatures, but everyone thought he was insane and even committed him to a mental institution for a while. Until today, when they discovered some clues about the monster, they finally realized the old professor's claims weren't unfounded. Taking the old professor with them, they arrived at the place where the monster had disappeared, drawing on years of experience with nature. As soon as the professor arrived, he noticed something off about the soil's scent. Katie, seeing that the professor seemed to have discovered something, quickly followed him. The professor compared the current landscape with the map he had made more than a decade ago and found that the terrain was completely wrong, with a mysterious additional mountain. Just as the two were about to examine the map more carefully, the mountain behind them suddenly opened an eye. Katie sensed something, turned to look behind, and saw a giant eye staring at them. The two looked on in disbelief as the neighboring mountain peak, right before their eyes, slowly transformed into a massive mountain monster. The group wasted no time, immediately boarding the helicopter. But next to the giant monster, the helicopter was smaller than its footpath.